This video is about recording dividends in Topshare. And in Topshare, dividends is a catch-all term that includes not just normal dividends from shares, but also trust distributions and interest payments from bonds. In fact, anything that's related to income from your holdings. Okay, so the first thing we're looking at is a normal run-of-the-mill dividend. So we do a right click on the holding and bring the dividend form into view. We need to enter a record date. You can enter a different pay date if necessary. Then we enter the amount per share. So this can be either a dollar amount or a cent per share. And also in this part of the form you can change the franking details, if it's partially franked or unfranked, that's where you do that. When you click next, if this stock is held by a number of different portfolios, then you get the chance to enter all the dividends in one go. It saves you a fair amount of work. Then what we see is what Topshare understands to be the holding and the various amounts paid based on what you've input. You have to check this pretty carefully against your dividend statements, because any significant discrepancies there can be the result of a previous error. Now let's have a look at trust distributions. We get into the form by the same right click on the stock holding. We need to record a record date for the distribution again. Now we click on the enter full payments option instead. And in this situation we can now enter the various components of the distribution under the headings that are shown there. What we're looking for in this case is interest, because we've got an interest payment to record. Because that's not there, we have to click on show all income categories, and that shows every category that Topshare currently knows about. And if we scroll right across to the end there, we can see the interest column. There it is. So we'll just enter the interest amount and save. So let's have a look now at customizing those income categories to make them a bit more convenient to use. Go to customize key items and select income categories from the list. And you can see there's a few different things that you can do here, but we're going to look at this extended category, which determines whereabouts in the dividends form the column appears, whether or not you have to click that show all categories. So at the moment interest is set with that extended category, so we're going to clear it, and we're also going to modify the display order to have it appear a little bit earlier on the display. Second thing we're going to do here is to enter a new category, and we'll just call it new category, and we will make it an extended category. So let's save all of that and then we'll have a look at the effect that's made. Let's just open that form again. We give it a record date so we can look at the next screen. Okay, so now you can see if we scroll across that interest is there without ticking the show all income categories option. And now when we do that, and scroll across once again, we can see that new category that we entered is now there. So there's complete flexibility in how you configure those income categories. Okay, now we're going to have a look at handling end-of-year statements from trusts. Often you get the situation where you receive multiple payments during the year, but at the time the payments are received, you don't know what income categories they represent. It's only after the end of the financial year that you receive a statement that tells you that those payments that were received during the year belong to various categories. So, for example, we've got a situation here where we've received 4 payments from APA during a financial year, and they've all been recorded just as an interim measure as unfranked. Now it's the end of the financial year. We've received a statement from APA that actually gives us the breakdown of those payments into various categories, and there's some franked amount, there's an unfranked amount, there's some interest, and there's a franking credit. So how do we go about recording that? Well, that's what this multi button is for. So what we need to do is first select one of those APA records, it doesn't matter which one at this point, and click multi. Now you'll see that all of the income records for that stock are listed, and we need to select just the ones that are involved in this end of year statement. Then over here we put in the revised amounts for each of the categories. So of that $367, we now know that it was made up of $100 of franked amount, $137 of unfranked, $130 of interest, and let's say there was a $45 franking credit as well. So having entered those values, we just need to scroll up and down and make sure that they are correct. And when they are, we click the magic redistribute button. And you see up the top now that those records have been revised. We've got all the new categories are included. The totals for each of the categories match up with what we've input, and the amounts for individual records are all adjusted pro rata to make up those totals. So just save the data and we're done.